When people lack the appropriate dorsiflexion to squat, you'll notice that as they squat, they'll try to push their feet out in external rotation as well as spread the legs out as far as possible. They do that in order to allow the foot to pronate and thus compensate for the lack of dorsiflexion. If the feet are kept forward, the person usually falls back due to this lack of dorsiflexion. So this drill, we're going to work on bilateral dorsiflexion in order to get you into a squat position. We need to use an object like a stall bar, something that we can counterbalance our force with. Put your feet to the appropriate width as well as the amount of external rotation needed in order to sit comfortably in the basement of the squat. From this position, we can apply our PAILs rails to each of our knees. We're going to take our chest, and I'm going to bring my chest over one of my knees, using the stall bars now to pull me forward in order to increase the amount of passive stretch on my posterior musculature. For every PAIL set, we're going to hold that passive stretch for approximately 2 minutes for the first set, of course, in order to engage the tissues. While we're in the stretch, make sure you're using relaxed breathing, breathing in on a 10 count and breathing in on a 5 count and breathing out twice as long on a 10 count. And each time we breathe out, we're trying to get a deeper stretch by relaxing that musculature even more. After a 2-minute stretch has been maintained, we're going to go with our first set of our progressive angular isometric load, or our PAIL set. Using the forefoot, keeping the heel on the floor, we're going to breathe in, create tension in our body as we begin to gas pedal into the floor by pushing our forefoot down, keeping our heel on the floor. Use about 5 seconds to ramp up to a maximum contraction. At the end of an approximate 15-second PAIL set, we're going to switch to a rail set. Use the anterior musculature on the front of your shin and ankle to pull your knee forward, thus intensifying the stretch actively. Hold the rails contraction again for approximately 15 seconds, ensuring that you're maintaining total body tension. At the end of the 15 second, maintain the position that you're in after the rail set and relax into the new angle or the new range of motion. For the second set, the passive stretch can last approximately 1 minute before reapplying another PAILs and rail set. Then switch to the other leg, applying the exact same principles. As improvement occurs, we can start to gradually move the feet into a more A to P position, meaning facing straight forward, and we can also gradually begin to work our feet closer and closer to each other until eventually, from a foot together position, we're able to balance our squat.